So she's upstairs. I called my mom, and she's like, they found something else, and I need to get more treatment done. And it broke me, dog. Like, Tabitha came downstairs. I'm about to cry now. Tabitha came downstairs, and I remember her asking, like, so what'd she say? And I couldn't even get the words out, dog. And she just, I guess she saw it, and she just embraced me.
What up? It is Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, aka Ferg, joined with my co-hosts Buff and Razi. Fellas, it is MLK Day. Tell them what's on your mind.
Well, I want to say happy birthday to MLK, but also we're recording on Sade Adu's birthday. So
it's actually Sade's birthday.
Yeah, Sade's birthday today. So happy birthday to her and the band.
Did y'all see that picture of Sade though?
Yeah.
What year she said that was? 2017?
But that was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, man. She aged like fine wine.
Yeah,
like
I gotta give it to her.
I gotta. Whatever she drinking, they need to bottle that. I don't know if it's water.
So,
oh man, what's on your mind, fellas?
Man, I'm excited for Bad Boys for Life coming out this weekend.
Yes, sir.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous? Really? You don't think it's gonna be good?
I've already made up in my mind it's good, so it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter how bad it is. It's good.
It's as good as Belly.
Belly, it's a very bad good movie.
yeah, that's exactly how to describe it.
I don't know if you were done, Razi, but I got a lot going on. Since we last recorded, shout out to Kristen for coming on, Ani De La Cruz, Baraka. Y'all heard the show. Y'all know all the names by now. Shout out to her for coming on and correcting Razi a couple times. But since we recorded that show, man, I've had a lot going on. First off, my daughter is a woman now.
Oh, wow.
Bro. I don't know how you missed that, Razi. That hurt my heart.
Oh, yeah. I remember. I'm just saying, oh, wow, that you actually said it on the podcast. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I reached out to, I'm just glad we talked to her before everything happened, so she kind of knew what to do. She came down there and said, Mommy, I need to talk to you upstairs. And I instantly knew what was going on. So,
did you freak out?
A little bit.
You did have a drink.
I don't want to elaborate on too much because sometimes I tell her to listen to it in the car and she's in there with her and Jasmine hates when I bring her up on the show. So that's all I'll say. Just dealing with that. That was a shock to me. As many of you know, I work on Capitol Hill, so I've been witnessing a lot of history this week with the articles and impeachment being brought over to the Senate. I've been getting a kick out of telling Tabitha, no, you can't wear that. No, you can't wear this. She's getting ready to go to her girls' trip in Miami next week.
Who's she going with?
She's going with a couple of coworkers, man. Like, no, can't wear that. Just kidding. She does ask my opinion on how things look, though. So, been giving her my opinion on that. And, man, just found out right before we came on air that Watchmen is not going to be renewed for a second.
You stole my thunder, man. That hurt my heart. I still haven't read the article on what's going on.
I think the creator didn't want to come back, and so HBO was like, "Well, we just won't pursue it."
They gotta finish something off. I mean, last we saw, God was a woman. Like, it was going down.
Spoiler alert.
Oh man, was. Oh, and everybody ain't caught up.
You never know.
Hey man, it's been months.
Yeah.
But no man, that had me feeling some sort of way, and me being almost a semi-conspiracy theorist, semi-black nationalist. I'm like, because the white man didn't want the black man to have a show with a black man. So I was already in my Ani would be proud Mike Williams would be ecstatic.
Hey, shout out Mike Williams, man.
He keeps me rolling, man. I just never know what he's gonna say. But that man, he speaks his truth, which I really can respect. So, that's huge. Man, have you ever had an ironic day? Like, my day was so crazy. So, earlier today, I went to physical therapy for my wrist. I had a wrist surgery a few months ago. And so my therapist was asking, I got a new therapist. She asked if I've ever done physical therapy, and I was talking about my back and how I had to switch therapists at one point in time because I had to get a lawyer involved. And I'm like, you know what? For the first time in a while, I realized my back was doing okay. I really don't have pain anymore, and I've been I was working out and stuff like that. So I thought I was good. So walk to the car, get in the car, the new truck that we got. Well, it's a used truck, but the truck we got, talking to my wife about getting insurance on the truck. We're literally driving down the street, talking about insurance, and I get rear-ended.
Oh, man.
Like, we're literally in mid-conversation, like, okay, maybe we should go Geico. Oh, no, Progressive. Maybe we'll stay with USAA. We're getting quotes. She's sending me quotes, and I get rear-ended. Now, there wasn't a lot of damage to the truck. Well, there was really no damage to the truck, but it was also that jolt I got in my back. And now I'm at that point where I feel a little twinge, but I don't know if it's that mental, like, here we go again, or is it really something serious, or is it just your body locking up and responding to, just being in an accident and it's nothing huge. But I'm saying, like, you gotta be shitting me. I literally was on the phone, I was like, babe, let me call you back. I just got rear-ended. And
you're going to go get looked at, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get looked at. Oh, I don't play that. Especially, you're more susceptible to a flare-up or something like that after having an injury or being in an accident like that. So, but I was just like, you gotta be kidding me.
Dang.
But,
did you call the cops and go through, even though you don't have insurance, you didn't get their insurance?
No, I have, because I'm an insured driver, and there's insurance on the truck, because the person I bought it from still has insurance on it. But it's just, we were talking about transferring everything over and budgeting, like, well, since we got to add this, let's look at everything and see if we, we can save money. So we were mid-conversation about all that stuff. And she's like, we haven't had any claims in the last, X amount of years. I'm like, no, we haven't. And bam. So that was my day in a nutshell.
Dang.
So,
also,
but you go say something.
Did I cut you off, Razi? Because I know I kind of jumped in there with everything I had thinking.
No. I had a question about the impeachment thing with you. What's kind of one of the most surreal things that you have experienced in the last couple of days since the articles have been delivered? I watched a couple of or a few minutes of it as I walked in and out of the break room with everything that was going on. Like, what's kind of the coolest thing that you saw?
So surreal. I don't know how surreal this is, but anybody that's been to the Capitol, and Razi, you come up there to watch the Senate in session. If you ever been there to watch the Senate in session, you rarely see more than maybe two members on the floor. One may be giving a speech and the rest of the floor is completely empty. So to see all 100 senators at their seats on the floor to receive these articles of impeachment, man, it's not necessarily surreal, but it's like something you don't normally see. But I tell you, the most interesting thing for me was when they took that oath. All this week you've been hearing how, especially from Republicans, that they're not going to be impartial. They're going to be impartial. The oath they took literally says they have to be impartial. And so I'm like, so you guys going to break that oath or what now? So I just thought that was kind of funny, man.
But there's no ramifications for breaking that oath, is it?
No, because to them, the way they interpret it as, this is not a criminal trial like in a court. They have the right to be partial if they want to. They can do that. So that's what happens when you get to make the rules. You don't have to follow them. That's it.
Or you tweak them to work for you.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much so.
Hey, what was it like seeing the Chief Justice of the United States come in and be there. Cause I mean,
that was pretty cool. Like, he comes up there for State of the Union, but it's not about him. Like, he just comes and sit down. Like, he presided over the Senate, man. That was crazy. And I tell you what else too, man. We're more locked down now than we are during inauguration, which is our biggest event of Capitol Hill. We're more locked down. Like, there are certain hallways that the press is usually able to go back and forth on. They can't go. Like, people who work there can't go in certain hallways. When the president of the United States is getting sworn in on inauguration, the inside of the building is pretty much still open. So it's just been crazy to watch this major lockdown for this trial that, according to everybody, is supposed to be a nothing burger because we already know what's going to happen, but they're still taking it seriously up there.
Yeah. I saw some things about like some of the senators to watch, because the thing is, Trump's probably not going to get removed, but the votes that come out of this can get some senators removed. So, because I mean, the people are going to turn on him. You got, here in Alabama, you got, what's his name? Doug Jones, who's a senator in a red state of Alabama. I mean, exactly. that puts him on the chopping block.
On the flip side, you got Susan Collins, who's already considered vulnerable. So it's going to be interesting to see how she votes. Lisa Murkowski is also a person that doesn't always toe the line with Republicans. So no matter what happens here, State of the Union is going to be like awkward as hell, man. You have a Speaker of the House sitting behind a president that she impeached. I'm just wondering if Democrats are even going to show up for that, man. So,
but it won't be weird for him.
Oh no, he loves. I mean, I don't.
That's the thing, man.
I've already gotten political enough. He doesn't. He likes this.
Yeah, they always talk about, no news is bad news, or no attention is bad attention, something like that. So I think he lives his life by that, man. He's a reality TV star. So,
hey, man, that is true. That's crazy. Well, you know what time it is? I mean, we didn't pub the Senate. We don't get any
but before we pub anything else, though, I want to shout out Sherman Cooley. His new book's coming out Monday, so it should drop the same time that the episode drops. So if you guys haven't heard about him, we're gonna have a link in the show notes. Hit him up. Go get that book too.
Tracy, Volume 4.
Yeah, Tracy is. It's my favorite until the end. I would just say that. And y'all know why. But no, I feel like, I don't know if he gets better or you just get more involved in the stories over time. But I feel like every story I get more bought in, and it's better than the last. Prior to Tracy coming out, I was a fan of Your Story, Bo. And prior to that, I was a bigger fan of Mia than I was Andre. And now just Tracy's it. So I'm hoping that stays true, but I doubt it.
I think what happens is each story, you get more of Mobile, you get more of LaFleur. You learn, so even though you move past Andre and Mia, in Brandon's story, you learn more about Mia, you learn more about Andre. Some of the scenes connect, so whatever happened in Andre, a piece of that happens in Mia. So I think it's just fun to see how it all connects and adds up, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It drops MLK Day. It's gonna be a great read. People jump out there. On behalf of Sherman, if I can speak on his behalf, he really appreciates all the love and support. I mean, you guys have gone out and
it's doing numbers.
Downloaded the book. Yeah. You're reading the book. People are talking about it. I just ask you guys to go to his page, comment, share, subscribe, do all the same things. You can't listen to it, but do all the rest of the stuff you would do that you would give us. So all of our listeners, everybody on our page, please go and support our homeboy Sherman. It's not just because he's our homeboy, but I think it's a great book. He's a great author, and let's support one of our own.
Did we mention it's free? They're free, by the way. Free.
That is free. that is free. And you know what else is free?
Love, exciting and new. Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever. It's alive.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships of Bermudan and British Registry.
Well, we're back. Three Brothers No Sense. Your favorite podcast, my favorite podcast to host. You know what time it is. It's question time. So since we did a little different last week, I'm going to keep the party going, and I'm going to wait till last to ask my question. So usually I set the tone. So I'm going to let my guys set the tone. So who wants to go first?
Well, man, I'm armed with two questions, but I was kind of going to go by whatever you guys asked.
I know that's how that usually goes.
So
you always have to change your questions based off of me. So I'm trying to turn it over a new leaf.
All right. So we talked about serious topics last week. What was it? Colorism. And you guys remember what else?
Stay at home.
Stay at home.
Yeah. Dividing the household duties.
It wasn't too serious then, I guess. So how about this then? I'm going to start it off serious. You guys can lighten it up as the show goes on. We've kind of touched on this topic here and there. We're definitely three males that don't mind, revealing our feelings about things. And we kind of think outside the box. But I wanted to ask you guys, because I believe both of you guys have cried in front of your spouse, correct?
Yeah.
I guess so. I'm not a crier.
Okay. So my question is, when was the first time you cried in front of your spouse? And was that something that you actively tried to hold back because you were holding on to that masculinity and that's not what men do? Do you remember that moment when you finally said, hey, this is my spouse. I can trust her with this vulnerability. What was it that brought you to tears in front of your spouse for the first time?
Huh.
You want to go, Razi? I think I figured mine out.
I think I know mine. Yeah, I'll go. So I think I know mine. And Jenica, knowing her, she's going to call me out and be like, that wasn't it. But, I am a crier, and not because of the masculine thing. It's like literally I can't control my emotions, especially, again, that's another sign of PTSD, not being able to control your emotions and not being able to hold things back. And so, yeah, the first time that I cried in front of Jenica really was, we were just watching a movie, and it was a random, I don't even know what movie it was, but it wasn't any. No, it wasn't. No, that's the thing is, it wasn't sappy. It wasn't. It was. I want to say Tears of the Sun, and I don't know if you guys have watched Tears of the Sun.
We watched that right before we left, before we got deployed.
Yeah, we did. So,
okay.
And so and maybe that's what it was. I didn't even put two and two together with that, but it was on, and it always kind of tears you up if you know the movie. But it was, we were just watching it, and, he was kind of trying to say to kids and everything like that. And I just couldn't hold it back. And I just, it started off with the kind of sniffling a little bit. And then it turned into like a full on weep and everything. And Jenica, I never forget, she just didn't know what to do. She just kind of sat there and like looked at me.
How long ago was this?
It was when I had first gotten back, because I still hadn't gone back to work yet. So, I mean, it had to be August time frame of 2010.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, that makes perfect sense. And so it wasn't just a regular guy watching a movie crying. It's a guy watching a movie, dealing with the military, dealing with people, some of the kind of stuff he dealt with. Coming back from war, it was a PTSD cry. Yeah. And basically, I can understand. And y'all were married, so y'all were still kind of fresh in that relationship. And I'm pretty sure she was like, okay, what do I do? Mm-hmm.
Were you worried how she was going to react to that?
I was. I was sitting there like, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm crying so hard. I've watched this movie plenty of times. It's not like it's surprising to me or anything like that. And, it was just, I was like, I can't stop. And she was like, at first she just kind of looked at me, but then she was like, it's cool. And like, I always tell the story about how she kind of got me out of my funk and brought me back and stood by me. And truthfully, that's when I was like, she's a keeper, because she's going to kind of be there for me and not, I guess, get scared or call me a punk. And actually, I think she called me a punk later on.
I'm pretty sure she did.
That sounds like Jennifer, right?
That sounds like
her. But the thing was, she never hid from it or tried to ignore it. She just addressed it, and she was like, regardless, I think that's what it was. I think we talked about it a little later, and she was just like, regardless if you're being a punk, I mean, I'm gonna be here. I ain't going nowhere. I think she said it kind of like that. So that's just her, man. She's straightforward and she makes light of it, but she got the biggest heart. She just keeps a tough veneer on top of it.
Wow, that's dope. And I could definitely see Jenica calling you a punk. It just very and just short. Just went a whole dissertation on it, or just a long speech. Stop acting like a punk. Like, I can hear is stop acting like a punk, or just you're a punk. Like, it was just very cut and dry. Mm-hmm. Which is a good movie. So if you haven't seen Tears of the Sun, it's a great movie. And I think I want to say that was the last movie. We might actually went to see that in the theater on Post or something. I think it was like the last movie we saw prior to leaving.
It might have been, yeah. Bruce Willis. I mean, one of our favorite Christmas action movie heroes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This wasn't a action movie. I mean, this wasn't a Christmas movie, so we can,
Yeah, we can't agree that this wasn't a Christmas movie.
Yeah, he's multi-talented. Not only does he make great Christmas movies. Mine was similar to you, but this is not pre-marriage. So I'm a thinker. I try to keep a very cool, calm demeanor about most things, which is a gift and a curse. I'm very much in control of my feelings, but I also try to be true to myself. So call it 2010, the year my wife moved up here to Houston with me. My line brother introduced us to this relationship boot camp. So have you ever seen Marriage Boot Camp or anything like that on TV? It was a reality show at one point in time. We went before it was really big. And so there was two parts to the boot camp. We really didn't do the relationship part because we weren't married yet, but we did it was like a self-help boot camp. So basically it was a week. It was a draining week. Hours, I think it might have been like from 6 till 10, 4 or 5 days a week. For a week. And I mean, it was draining. And one of the last days we were there, and actually I think it was Saturday, the last day we were there, by that time, everybody in the class had broke down. Like they had gotten to everybody. I mean, we walked in, it was couples on their last, like if this shit don't work, we ain't making it. And, we got dudes in there, black, white, dudes in there just like, man, this is pointless. And I wasn't thinking it was pointless, but I thought I was in a better place than I was. And so the whole time every night we would go back and talk, because I felt the emotion. I felt what was going on and stuff like that. But I was more so mentally, I think I was suppressing what was really going on by overthinking it. Like I already had a solution. And so, somehow they pinpointed my relationship with my father and me wanting to help people in relating all that stuff. And so I'm just talking about it and stuff like that. And it got to a point where, and they were good at this, they would ask you a question and they would just shut up and say, you have to talk about this for like maybe 5 minutes. And you'll start talking for a minute or two and it's like, okay, is that enough? Well, I guess I'll keep talking. And then you keep going. And it's like you just kept going. And I had this realization about me and my family, me and my father's some abandonment issues that I found out I had that I didn't have. Just a lot of things. And it just like tears. Like it became like a waterfall. Like it just came out and I just couldn't stop. it was just talking. And it's just like, it went from, my mom, my dad being my role model to him and my mom splitting up and me feeling abandoned here, me feeling abandoned there, yada, 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 not having trust issues with people, keeping people at a distance. And it was just kind of her being there and us being able to talk about it and, her breaking some things that she had. And we kind of had that moment together. And that was, I think, another one of those moments where I'm like, this is the woman I'm gonna marry. Because I was already at financial, I was at a dead end. I was having a tough time. 2010, for anybody that doesn't know, was probably the toughest year of my life, financially, mentally, emotionally. And that was kind of, for that woman, my wife, Serena, to be there with me at that moment when I had a revelation. And I think it's definitely helped me develop a better relationship with my father, me want to be a better husband, me want to be a better father and stuff like that. But her being there and she was the only person that can console me, and that's the only person I wanted to console me. As much as I love my mom, as much as I love my dad and my stepdad, she was the only person that's ever seen me that vulnerable. Most of us probably have a fear of vulnerability. And so for that, I thank you, baby, if you listen to this podcast. And I think that was one of our closest moments. And from that day, we've had no problems being really vulnerable, really transparent with each other. And I think that might have been the last time she saw me cry. The first and last she might have seen me cry last year when we lost our son. So that might have been it. But I think I called you and cried, Razi. That might have been it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to cry in front of her because she needed support and I couldn't be there at that point in time. But I think that's it. I forgot about that.
Damn, fellas. Very, very revealing, man. It's crazy too, because it sounds like all three of us actually cried in front of our now spouses before they were actually our spouse. So as you guys know, me and Tabitha have been dating since ninth grade. So one of the first times I cried.
Don't say when Tupac died.
I did not cry when Tupac died. I was pissed, but I did not cry. I was very pissed. I was very pissed when he died. I'm not going to lie. Don't bring me back to that moment. So Tabitha and I were bonding over how, our dads, wasn't as great as they should be. And, I just broke down. This was over the phone. I was like, if I'm his son and he loves me, why won't he do X, Y, Z? Why doesn't he want to spend time with me? I just started crying. But that was over the phone. I still held on in my mind. Hey, I'm masculine. I haven't cried in front of her. That's what I haven't done. I'm still a man. I'm a man. Well, late last year, I actually finally did that because I'm not a big crier. But you guys know, and a lot of our close friends know, it's been several years ago. My mom first had her first bout with cancer, and thank God she caught it very early, and she did the chemo and all that and all the treatment, and got rid of it. And about 2 years later, a second round of it came, and my mom is the most religious, most faithful. She's strong. She keeps you from worrying. She the whole time, I'm going to beat this. Don't worry about it. I got this. I'm going to beat it. Just completely upbeat. She is still confident in me. I'm like, well, she says she's going to beat this, so she's going to beat it. And so the second bout came, same thing. She beat it. And during all that, during all these few years, she stopped trusting the hospitals in Mobile, Alabama, which coincidence, we just made a post about trusting medical practices. So she wound up getting some of her treatment up here in Northern Virginia. So she had been coming back and forth up here a lot the last few years. And so she was getting her treatment and everything is going. Remember, she's had 2 bouts. And so something else happened and she had to get more chemo, more treatment or whatever. And we thought we were finally done. She had to get, both of her breasts removed and everything like that. So we thought we were clear. So she goes home and she's like, all I got to do is just go and they're going to call me with my results on the follow-up, make sure everything is good. So I remember telling Tabitha, I'm like, all right, I'm about to call my mom, and see make sure everything is good. They told her results today. So she's upstairs. I called my mom and she's like, they found something else and I need to get more treatment done. And it broke me, dog. Like, Tabitha came downstairs. I'm about to cry now. Tabitha came downstairs and I remember her asking, like, so what'd she say? And I couldn't even get the words out, dog. And I guess she saw it and she just embraced me. And we've been married let me get this wrong. We've been married for 13 years. And that was the first time I cried in front of her. And I just let it flow. Like, she embraced me and I like buried my face in her and just let the tears flow. Now, a side note, I did almost cry on our wedding day. The only reason I didn't cry on my wedding day is because I had a bet with Mike. Mike had bet me that I was going to cry, and I didn't want to lose that bet. So I made sure I held back those tears. But when those doors opened and she came down the aisle, I was like, oh, shussy, get it together. Because I'm telling you, Mike McCoy, DJ, a.k.a. DJ Tight Mike, was waiting on me to cry so he could win that bet. So I almost cried that day, but I wound up crying. I think it was about last month or maybe like November, man. And it just came out and I had moved beyond the whole, I'm not going to cry in front of her because I'm a man. It just had never happened. Like in the beginning, it was because, I'm a man, I'm tough. I can't cry in front of her. But I don't know. It just happened, man. And I needed that. I needed that, dog. Like, I did not need to hold that in and I let it out.
Hey. That's my first time. That's my first time finding out that she found something else.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that a few months ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was like last month, maybe a month and a half.
You said something. You didn't give us a lot of details, and you know how we are. We don't. If you don't provide the information, we don't ask. You give you your space and your time to do what you do. But I mean, you made one of the last things you said is it wasn't because you were trying to be a man or more masculine. It was just it is what it is. Do you think we've been so brainwashed now? I don't feel like I have to hide anything from my wife. I'm not scared to cry in front of her. She knows my fears because we've talked about my fears for years. How detrimental is that? Is like, what are we 4 or 5 cries behind? Like, should we have cried more or what's going on? Like, is it, cause I'm pretty sure that was therapeutic. Razi, yours was therapeutic.
Yeah.
Mine definitely was therapeutic. And, like I was saying earlier, when we lost our son, like, I was in a room with her. I kept it together because, she needed me to. And I think I had to go do something or I forgot what it was, but I had to step out of the room for a second, make some calls. And in between those calls, and actually, I don't even want to get too detailed, but I think you were the first person I called.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think you were, and then action. And so I just had to talk to you guys, get it out, whatever the case may be, because I guess my biggest fear outside of being vulnerable was being helpless. And I think we talked about that, for one of the first times in my life, for the woman I love more than anything, there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
And you just brought up another example too. I won't say this is because of masculinity, or maybe it is, but your example just made me think of when Jasmine had to go to the hospital when she was like maybe 5 or 6 months, man. She had like RSV or something, but it scared Tabitha to death because she went there for like a regular checkup and her breathing wasn't coming back right. And, they're running in and out, doing all these checks, panicking, Tabitha worrying even more. And finally they said, we got to take her to the hospital right now. And Tabitha broke down. She called me at work. And I remember being at the hospital, seeing your little baby with tubes and stuff, bruh. But I felt like I couldn't cry because I wanted to be strong for Tabitha. So is that a part of trying to be too masculine too, you think?
I don't think so, because I think there's ladies that do the same thing. Like in those moments where we're crying, they're probably, ZZ probably would have cried too when, you know, you were breaking down about your dad, but she probably didn't cry because she felt like she needed to be strong for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's just one of those things that you step up as the spouse when the other person, it's almost like kind of seeing who's reacting more violently. So then we can say, okay, I got to be there for them. So then that kind of shakes you out of it. It's almost like, when you drunk and you get pulled over by the cops, right? You got to shake it off a little bit and try to get as good as possible. And so I think that's what it is. So I don't think that as much masculinity as it is just trying to be there for that person.
I think it's double. I think it's both. You know, but definitely because my wife is one of the strongest people I've ever met, you know, and when we went through what we went through and just once after she had her moment, Z was just like, you know, we're going to get through it. You know, we saw it through. She had her moments, but we got through it. But I think for us, you know, one of the things we talked about in our marriage at one point, I think especially after she had my daughter is almost kind of what we're talking about today is like unspoken roles. It's like my wife, and Christian kind of mentioned this, like my wife probably does 30% of the stuff with the kids. And it's not because I'm just lazy, whatever the case may be. She has the ability to focus on the kids and pay less attention to me because I had to watch out for her and the kids. Like part of my duty is to make sure she's always okay. Like I'll go without. I'll make sure like I'll put my feelings on a shelf. I'll deal with that stuff later. I'll go cry in the car because she needs me. Like I have to be strong for her, you know, all the time. You know, like, you know, we all of us have kids, you know, after those first few months, they're nervous, especially the first one, they're nervous and all this stuff. And so they're doing all this extra stuff. And you might not be changing as many diapers, but at the same time, and I think it's a perfect example, you're watching her. Like I'm watching my wife to make sure there's no issues with her, make sure there's no postpartum, seeing if I can recognize those things because she has the baby covered. You know, like that baby's going to be overdressed, over baby. Like they're going to put all the stuff in there, you know, stuff that the baby doesn't even need. But at the same time, I got to make sure she eats. She sleeps. She's not getting stressed out. She's not overwhelmed and all those things. And I think that's kind of part of what happens. It's one of those things like, hey, I got to put my feelings on the shelf because she needs me.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we get good at it and it just goes unnoticed because like we were saying earlier today, you know, we commend ride or die chicks. But if a man's quote unquote not a ride or die, then he's kind of like almost a punk. Like, you ain't gonna ride or die for your girl. Like that's kind of you don't get no song about that. Like what kind of song like my dude's a ride or die dude? Like, you mean he's a good dude? Like he's a man, he got your back? Like, okay, I'll skip that song. So, you know, it's as an unspoken, unsung rule that just happens. But a good woman definitely is there in our moments of weakness that probably for a lot of us is not as awesome as they should be, you know.
So last point before we change gears, what do you say to the guys that may be listening to this and not like, you know, saying, man, these old sensitive ass dudes, what, like, how do you respond to somebody that said, I mean, y'all weak, man, I just choked up on air right now.
Yeah.
Like, so what do you say to the guys that ain't where we at as far as with that?
I let them, I'm just going to talk to y'all. Look, man, it's okay to have emotions. You know what I mean? And letting them out instead of bottling them up is going to make it so much easier for you to get past them. So, because if you bottle up emotions and it's going to explode, you know what I mean? And it might explode at the wrong time, anything like that. So letting it out is so much better for you. It's going to make you feel so much better. You know, like I said, I'm a crier not because I just feel like I'm because I'm light skinned. You know,
you happen to be the crier.
I just so happen to be light skinned and emotional. But I'm just telling you, man. I mean, I've been through those times. I think I cried, you know, that time I talked about with my dad, I probably didn't cry again after that until I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. I might have shed a tear, sniffled here and there, but like a full on cry, I hadn't done that until probably as late as then. You know what I mean? So I've been there with bottling it up and everything. I mean, but when it comes down to it, I've been through enough, counseling and everything else to know that getting it out, you just feel like a weight's lifted off of you, man. So stop carrying all that weight around, and you'll just be so much happier in life because you got it out. So that's it. That's all I can say.
I think mine is when you get to a point, I think for everybody in a relationships, if you have a good relationship and you have enough trust, you're comfortable enough to let loose with that person. It might not be like, I'm not looking for reasons to go cry with my wife because I'm just not a crier, but I'm comfortable enough, not because of me. She's made me comfortable enough. Like, it's a lot of times we think about what's going on with us. I'm the person I am in a large part because my wife gives me the ability and she supports me being who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I've ever been that comfortable in front of a woman to cry like that, or made me want to get to a point where I'm seeking to become a better person and go through therapy and go through things that make me cry and stuff like that. So she brought that out of me. Same way that I think women that are in successful and healthy relationships, they're more vulnerable and they're more, I've actually seen something where some women, especially in those early stages of those good relationships, are more vulnerable, but they're more explosive because they're able to unload that baggage they've been holding on to or let those walls down. And now that, they're find somebody that they're comfortable with letting those walls down, they're working through all those hangups. So the same thing with us, guys. If you find a woman that you really care about and allows you to let your walls down, do it, man. I mean, she'll appreciate you. It'll be therapeutic for you. So, and
then you might put some walls up. No,
yeah. There it is.
One other thing I wanted to add in there though. Ferg, when you talked about, you called me and you was like, we talked. We really didn't talk. Like, I just sat and listened, and it wasn't a whole lot of conversation going on. It was a chance for Ferg to vent and get it out. So one other thing I'll tell you fellas, be there for your homeboy, be there for your homeboy when without shaming them or making them feel like they can't call you and cry because they just lost a child. Like that, you know what I mean? It's folks that even as friends would probably try to shame their homeboy if they cried because of that. Like, man up. And like, sometimes you just got to be that friend and just sit there and don't make them feel bad because they had to do that.
You're a special kind of cruddy if you shame your boy for crying after he done lost a kid.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah,
special kind of cruddy.
Yeah, also, we gotta fight.
Exactly.
Also, Razi, the first movie I cried on was Menace to Society. I just thought it was unfair that Kane was getting ready to move.
You about to spoil it for Razi? He ain't seen it
yet. Well, I just thought it was unfair for what happened to Kane, and I ain't like it.
Yeah, isn't that the one? Wasn't he about to go to college? Because he was playing football.
No.
Next topic.
God damn.
Oh God. Oh man, Razi, what's your question, bro?
No. Hey, y'all want to hear a joke?
No.
It's a good joke. It's a good joke. Sophie told it to me. All right, we're gonna do it. Knock knock.
Byron, answer him.
Yeah.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting cow.
Moo!
That was the worst joke ever.
Get it?
Yes. It was horrible.
It's a good joke, man. It's a good joke.
Oh man. Tabitha, you gotta forgive me for this one. He does it to himself.
He can be on the outside this time.
That might be a shirt, Razi.
What?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting cow. Move. Like, there it is. Yeah. All right. I might try
That was
that.
horrible, man. Why?
When Sophie said it, I'm gonna get Sophie to say it. It's even funnier when she does it.
No, it's just.
I mean, can you imagine a 6-year-old telling you that? It's even better.
Yes, that's who tells that joke.
I know,
exactly
that's the
who tells
point.
that joke.
That's the point. It's so bad that it's funny. Okay, anyway. All right. So mine's a little serious as well, I guess. And so y'all know we got some merch now. And when it went up, and even I've been helping Jenica and putting her prices and everything and pricing her stuff. You know, we get a lot of folks calling and requesting quotes and stuff, and they be like, you know, I want this dress. I want you to recreate this Vera Wang dress that costs $75,000. Can you do it for $150? And like, no, we can't. But at the same time, because we're not a big manufacturer, because Three Brothers No Sense isn't able to print 2,000 t-shirts, our shirts are going to cost more. Jenica's clothes are going to cost more. She's making them by hand to your size and stuff like that. So, but you still get a lot of pushback from folks talking about, and we've heard it a couple times with, I don't go to black businesses because they charge too much.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah. And so my question to you guys is, do you guys pay a premium to support small businesses? If you do, why? If not, why not?
First off, I don't support black businesses as much as I should. I probably, like, I'm not actively, like, I know people who actively find black owned grocery stores, black owned small stores or like that. I don't actively do it, but if I know about it, I definitely will pay that premium. And the why is because I want to see us win. Like, I hear all the stereotypes and excuses that blacks don't support blacks or whatever. I don't know how true that is, but I definitely try to do my best. I go to Atlanta, I try to support, if I hear about a black restaurant or whatever, I'll support it. So yeah, I don't mind paying that premium, man. I want to see us win. I love us, and I want it to become a norm when you see a black business. Like a classmate of ours that went to our high school at LaFleur, Erica Barrett, who has Soku down there. I thought one of the coolest things was that when we visited there, it was all kind of people in there, Asian people, white people, black people. I want that to be normal. For a lot of black businesses, if they're successful, it's usually because only we're there, like we supporting it. I want to become normal where black people support it, white people support it. It's a business just like any other. So I want to see us win. So I don't mind paying the premium, but I do need to do better with actively seeking it. And I need to bank black. I've been talking about that for over a year now. I need to bank black as well.
Yeah.
I understand, and I feel you, Byron. I think what it is we become addicts of convenience.
Yeah.
And so seeking a black business, seeking, everyday things, because what black businesses should I be supporting? Like you said, bank black. And I'm the same way. I want to do better. I like, in my heart of hearts, like I said, I'm one step away from being a black nationalist in my mind, but it's like, man, ain't no black banks by me. And so you mean I got to go all the way over here to do this or do that, or, it's, I just have to do what's convenient for me because I don't like to be inconvenienced. But when I'm in a black business and I'm supporting it, it's not that, I think this is kind of the thing, is like when we do support a black business, I feel like we raise our standards because it's a black business. This is my problem. So just like you said, you have a little mom and pop shop and Jenica can't produce this same dress 5,000 times and lower the price. She has to buy the material. She has to do this. She has to do this. And her price is too high. If there's one stitch loose, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. But people will go to Walmart, via Rain, like all these large corporations and lower their standards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about every restaurant you went to. McDonald's has messed up my order. Freaking every restaurant I've been to, Chick-fil-A actually messed up my order once.
Oh,
yeah. Chick-fil-A actually messed up my order. Wow. Chick-fil-A messed up my order. Like, people make mistakes and we accept them, but we're not going to stop going to those places just because they messed up one time. But let Razi's Chicken and Waffles mess up an order, we're not going back. Let them have a waitress who wasn't as pleasant as you thought, we're not going back, or we're shaming it, or this is why I don't support black business. If you go to Chili's tomorrow and they mess up your order and they had a rude waitress, you might take her tip down, might not go to Chili's for a few months. You know, think about all the things we boycotted for whatever reason. 9 times out of 10, we go back, and they're usually large corporations.
Mm-hmm.
But we go back because they're convenient. We're used to them, and our expectations are low. You know, I will pay a premium. Like, you know, I'm trying to plan a trip for my lamplighters to Alabama in the summer, and I'm looking for like a black bus company and stuff like that. If it's a little more expensive and we can fit in our budget, and they do their job, because I don't want to just give you a pass. Now that I don't want to say I don't want to raise my standards, but I want to keep it on par. Like, hey, and maybe even give you a little more slack just because I understand the things that you're faced with, but don't take advantage of it. So, maybe we should figure out what are the easiest black businesses to support and start there.
I like the lazy excuse you brought up that we tend to use a lot is, well, you go to black business, they, you know, bad customer service. And like, for whatever reason, when it comes to black people, a small amount of examples equals the majority, if not all of us. So, you know, you see a couple of black males that commit a crime, all black people are thugs. You go to a black restaurant, get bad customer service. Black businesses don't know how to treat you, and they overcharge you anyway. Like, we always get caught up, and like you said, Ferg, if it happens at a white establishment, we don't do them like that. I'll never forget this conversation I had at work with somebody when I was like, man, it would be great if Obama appointed a black female to the Supreme Court. And the first thing this person said was, well, as long as she was qualified, she'd have to be qualified for it. Like, you would not say that about a white male. You would not say, you know, I hope Merrick Garland is qualified.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like whenever it comes to us, like Obama, I talked about Obama, his whole presidency was questioned. There's no way he was that smart at Harvard. There's no way he was born. Like, we always get questioned, and we always get lumped into the majority negative stereotypes, and we help feed that, and we got to get away from that, man. If you have a bad experience at a black establishment, don't write off just write that one off. Like, give them a second chance. If it's bad again, then don't go back to that place.
Or check your standards. Is it bad, or is it the norm? Like, your food came out cold. Have you ever been to another restaurant whose food came out cold, and did you go back? You know, that's my thing, is like, you're putting this level of like, well, I'm about to go support Razi's Chicken and Waffles. They better be good. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you stop, you'll pass by freaking Wendy's, and it's like, you don't sit there like, I hope this Wendy's is good. I hope they melt my cheese.
It's like we do what we complain is done to us when we say, hey, we have to be extra great in order to be on par with an average white person. Yeah. And so we take that mentality and apply it to black businesses, that they better be great. Like, my food better be hot. My waiter better be on point. It better be clean. I better enjoy the atmosphere. They better crack a couple of jokes I like. Like, I better get the hookup. Like, black businesses, and I'm not saying that there are no bad black businesses. Trust me,
I know what businesses though. This is bad business.
Exactly,
that's the thing.
Exactly. So,
but like I said, have you ever think about the last? And I use restaurants because I think that's where the easiest thing that I think black people is you can compare it to is, when's the last time you walked into, unless you're trying out a new expensive restaurant for the first time, but you really think about like, I hope this place is good when you're stopping. Like you like, if I stop by Popeyes, or if I stop by a Wendy's, if I stop by a Chipotle, whatever restaurant you go.
I think people do that when they're trying anything new, though, even if it's a new chain restaurant. When Cookout came, first time I walked into Cookout, I was like, I hope it's good. Now, it was okay, but it was super cheap. So I'm like, I'm gonna roll with it because it's super cheap.
And
you know,
cheap.
I mean, huh?
I said, and you cheap.
And I'm cheap, so I rock with it, you know? So I think it's when people, they set that expectation of, I hope it's good, but I do think they put that higher expectation of it has to be perfect for me to come back instead of it was okay. I think a lot of times, though, we don't even tell the owner and give the owner a chance to make corrections. You know, we'll go tell everybody out. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. As black people, to support black businesses, not only do we need to go and try them, but when we do have a bad experience, when we do not like something, when we say, hey, the greens were too salty. All right, if the greens are too salty, did you go talk to the chef? Not in no, I'm trying to get my check comped. Not in a, I'm being rude, just in, hey, here's what I thought. I don't want to put it on Yelp because I want to support you and I want you to get better. I know you knew. So, but I want you to know, here's what I felt. You know what I mean? And do that respectfully, because that's how we got to get better. We can't like walk out of the restaurant, walk out of the establishment and be like, I'm never going back. And then tell all our friends never to go in there, but nobody ever told the person why you walked out and you were mad and you felt like it was a bad, like interaction. So I think we got to do that part too.
What could black businesses do to help that? Because like I said, I think sometimes we'll go in there with higher standards. So if you're a black business owner of Razi's Chicken and Waffles and you feel like every time these black people come in, they got something to complain about, because we know that a lot of times we complain about black businesses. So it's just another black dude complaining about this business. And it's like, you would not go across the street and have this same argument or have the same complaint at X restaurant, who I know I'm better than.
I would say one of the things they could do is take as many complaints as possible seriously. Don't just write them off as, well, I don't need they rude ass to come back here anyway. Like, I talked about Eddie V's. Eddie V's did not have to do what they did. They are a successful chain. I didn't even like trash them. I got on Facebook and said, man, the last time I went there, it wasn't so great. They sent a $200 gift card. Now, I'm not saying every black restaurant can afford to do that, but they're on social media, like they're looking at nearly every comment. And if there's a complaint, they're trying to remedy that. They want every customer they can possibly get. So don't take any customer for granted. If you have a customer that's complaining, do what you can within reason to try to remedy that. If they complain about their food didn't come out hot, offer to redo it, offer them to come back, offer them a free appetizer, whatever you can afford within your business. But take the complaint seriously. And I'm not speaking from any type of knowledge, but I just would think that sometimes it's easy to write off a complaining customer and say, well, the hell with them, I don't need them. No, take that customer seriously.
Well, what if they're not writing them off? What if they just like their margins are already thin? A lot of these places, I'm just assuming, there's some thriving black businesses, so I'm not trying to down them. But if their margins are already thin and they're barely making it by, that plate I just sent out cost me $8. I charge you 10. Now I got to send it out again for another 8. I'm not making any money on it. It's, Eddie V's can afford to charge you $200. Should we be expecting that? Should we be like, is it,
But that is that downward cycle of a failing business, though. I mean, you look at Sears. Sears is exactly what you just talked about. It's, I can't keep my stores clean. I can't, make my customers happy. So less customers come in. And then I'm making thinner margins. So I still can't keep my stores clean and they're dirtier. And now I have less. So what do? I go and I hire less people. So now not only is it dirty, but my service is bad too. And so now less customers come in. That's how Sears failed. That's how Kmart failed. So business owners out there, like Byron said, you have to take every complaint and try to remedy it, try to figure out a way to get that customer back in. So if you have to eat the $8 to redo that meal this one time so that customer will come back, you have a customer for life. You have a customer that's going to repeat. So, and then what you need to do is you need to look at who made that food and why they send it out cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to address the problem. A lot of times what happens is it's a complaining customer and you just say, not even if you don't write them off, you might remedy the situation with the customer, but you don't fix the problem.
Good point. Yeah. And I want to go back to something Ferg said too. We always see people complain about how there are not enough cashiers at Walmart, but people still go there and shop.
Mm-hmm.
Every time some people, they complain about lack of cashiers, how the customers in there look trashy, but people still go in Walmart. So
because it's cheap.
Exactly.
Right, and that's the thing. So you have to know. And this is like business school 101. We dropping pearls to anybody that's thinking about opening a business right now. But you have to know what your niche is. So, and know what your customer base is. So if you say I'm going for low cost and you're going to be the low cost leader, you can get away with having a little bit bad service and you could be a little dirty. You could be Waffle House where it's dirty, but it's cheap.
And it's open all the time.
And it's open all the time. And the food is pretty delicious.
And
so,
you know
what I mean? Yeah, you might get shot. So it's trade-offs there. Or do you want to be Alexander McQueen and I'm going to charge you $1,000 for a t-shirt but because my brand is what it is, because of the quality of the shirt, because I didn't know that fabrics, there was such a big difference in the cost of fabric and what it actually feels like. And so now I understand when people spend $1,000 on a button down, I understand why. Because when you feel the material that button down is made out of and how it falls, I'm telling you, bruh, it's worth it. Like, it is definitely worth it. Now, luckily, I got a wife that can make that $1,000 shirt for next to nothing. But, I mean, all of that matters. So you have to know what you're going after, who you're going after, and really push towards that. Some of the ways, I know you guys asked about how we can find places. There's a couple links that I know of, officialblackwallstreet.com. You can go there. It has a location finder for black businesses. And then webuyBlack.com is another one that promotes black businesses.
I've shopped there before.
Yeah.
So let's put that on the website.
And trust me, you pay a premium on webuyBlack.com.
Yes.
Oh, you pay a nice premium on that.
It don't help that I'm cheap.
It happens, man.
Right,
I just wanted you guys' thoughts on that, but please, my answer is kind of the same. Yes, I pay premiums. Being a small business owner, I can tell you, and I come from a serial entrepreneur. Like I said, I talked about my mom in the Mardi Gras store. Before then, she had a party supply store. She had a daycare. Like, we always had something going on the entrepreneur side. And I heard all of that growing up. We always heard about that. Your prices are too high. I'm not priced like Walmart. Well, Walmart has economy of scale that I don't have. So, I'm paying for my suppliers what they are almost selling it for. And so, that's the issue that we run into with trying to be a small mom and pop. And that's what Walmart has done anyway. It's put so many small mom and pop stores out of business because they have that economy of scale. So guys, go support your small businesses, not just black business, small business in general, but definitely the black businesses as well.
So I'm gonna leave with this. Hey, business owners, pick your niche wisely, because Razi just said something that, why would I choose you over Walmart? Like, that's kind of what I'm getting. Why would I choose you over Walmart? Just because you're a black business, is it worth the premium? I want to support you, but why? Walmart's more convenient. You know, you're selling the exact same thing. Is there a reason? Is there almost what we were talking about earlier? Like, you have to be better. You have to, you have to know the market. Like, your product has to be superior.
Yeah. Or you're more convenient. You're closer than Walmart. That's how Dollar General is eating Walmart's lunch in small towns and in, smaller areas, because they can put 3 stores way closer to you than a big Walmart can.
Yeah. So, when I was in Mississippi last year for Thanksgiving, there was a Family Dollar every 3-4 miles. So that's good. That's good, man. Well, I'm going to keep.
Our merch is excellently priced, by the way.
Yes, so it's great. We had
ThreeBrothersNoSense.com.
Yeah. Hilarious. Well, my question, I guess I'll try to make it a little lighter. Hopefully you guys take it light. So I talk about my lamp lighters a lot. We're getting ready to do hopefully we have a fundraiser coming out. So in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So definitely be looking for it. We're doing a retreat and for spring break, and we're also doing a team building retreat as well as a trip in the summer. And so I'm all about trying to help mold better young men, especially better young black men and men of color as well. And so I'm always looking at like, how do like I said, I'm a student of people. I watch other cultures, and I notice a lot of people have rites of passage. And so, like, I think in our community, we really don't have a rites of passage outside of, I turned 18, I'm grown. But what was the day, or what was that rite of passage in your world that made you feel like I'm grown, or my mom and dad look at me as grown, or like I'm a man now, like I'm a big kid? Like, what was that? Because, in the Jewish community, they have a bar mitzvah. Like, there's certain things. Spanish people in the Mexican community, they have quinceañera for the young ladies. There's like a rites of passage. It doesn't have to be I'm 21 years old and I'm grown, but it's like, you know what? I'm kind of getting grown now. So what was that for you guys?
Well, it happened in stages. When you first get your car, first get your job, like you said, when you turn 18, you go vote for the first time. When you're able
Folks,
to buy,
please go vote.
please do. When you're able to go buy liquor at the real liquor store, not just the hood joints. But the moment for me happened when I was significantly older, was like right before me and Tabitha got married, like when we were like engaged, and we went back home to Mobile. And we were able to sleep together in the same bed.
I knew that's what was coming.
I was like, oh, okay.
That is hilarious.
That's when your parents have like officially let you that you grown. I can't control it no more.
And
that's hilarious.
Because I've ran into, in my opinion, a situation where, and I won't name any names, but some of my relatives that have always been adults when I was a child, and now they're older adults, and I'm an adult. I always felt like they didn't quite understand the fact that I'm an adult. Like, certain things they would try to tell me to do, like, whoa, wait a minute. No. I got a mortgage now. I don't listen to you like that no more. Now, I'll be respectful. I'll do things out of respect. But as far as just telling me what I'm going to do, no, we don't play spades like that. Mm-hmm. So that definitely is a big deal for me. But like I said, her mom allowed us to do that, and my mom, that was like, okay, we're officially adults now. So, and it's a cool moment, man. It's a real cool moment.
What about you, Razi?
For me, like Byron said, it is levels to it. I think, that car makes a huge difference for you feeling grown. Because you're not asking, can you drop me off? Can I go here? Can I go there? That type of thing. So that's huge for us. Just get in the car. But for me, I think because we did split up for the Army, and so for everybody listening, if you don't know, you can join the Army in high school your junior year. at 17, as long as your parents approve it and they sign off on it. So we actually went to basic training between our junior and senior year of high school. And so we were full-fledged Army folks in high school. And leaving for basic training, I felt like I did leave a child and I came back a man. Like at graduating, and I had been on my own for 10 weeks. I've been through the muck and learned all the stuff, and I basically been living by myself. Along with, 20 other people in the Bay, but
only 20?
By myself. we had the small bays.
Man, we had those 60-man bays.
Oh man.
Oh, that's right. You guys didn't do basic together.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we left like a week apart or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when I graduated, my dad, came and everything and telling me he's proud or whatever. But my dad actually, when I graduated, he did treat me differently. Like he treated me like a man. Cause he understood, cause he had went through basic in the Navy, which kind of like summer camp or whatever they call it. But he had done that. And so I think he saw me as a man once I graduated. Now my mom, on the other hand, really didn't, but, it took a while for her to start understanding that I was grown. But for my dad, I think that was the big piece that really made it, okay, you're on your own and you can do your own thing.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Definitely levels to it. One of mine was when I left for the military, or when I actually brought it to my mom. It was, if you guys know anything about my mom was very nonchalant, very just laid back. And like, if that's what, like, literally, hey, mom, I think I'm going to join the Army. Well, if that's what you want to do. And that was me joining the Army in a nutshell. But for me, it was a little earlier. And maybe I was just, I don't know what it was. For me, it was the day I got to pick my barber and pick my haircut. You remember, like, at one point you go to the who open, you go to the first chair because your mom and them don't want to be there all day, and it's kind of like, all right, because I used to go to Enix in Tomerville off of St. Stephen's Road, and Miss Rose has cut my hair for the longest. Hey, Miss Rose. And then one day I got to get my hair cut by Bo Diddley. That was like my coming of age. Miss Rose was, I think, busy. It was like, had 5 people in her chair. And it's like, my mom only went up there like, well, let whoever you want to cut your hair. And Tamel was like, you need to go to Bo. And I think I went to Bo, and he gave me, and I was talking about it the other day, he gave me my part down the middle with my, Larry Johnson part.
And I remember when you had that part, man.
Yeah, man. And going to Phillips, that was kind of rebellious. You know what I'm saying? Like we were very cut and dry. And it's like, got my hair cut the way I wanted, got my little part, the unorthodox part. And I felt like a man that day. It felt like, you know what? Life is looking up, and from that point, I haven't looked back. So, thank you, Bo Diddley, for my part that we never could get right. It just kind of, I don't know. I think it's just impossible to get it right. But it was like little things like that. It was like. Yeah,
to piggyback off that, I'm thinking about it, not necessarily picking the barber, but that first time your mom dropped you off at the barbershop.
Yeah.
To be there by yourself the rest of the day and be like, call me when you finish or whatever. That is a little bit of freedom right there that, you feel like a little bit of a man when you like, okay, cool. I'm here by myself. So I'm going to be here for about 3 hours, chilling, hanging with the guys, talking.
Well, why were we there for 3 hours? That was so crazy.
I have no idea. It's like, it takes like, 15 minutes to cut your hair? And you might be like the second person in there, but somehow you end up getting like skipped, like, oh, I had an appointment, got an appointment. And so you end up being there like 3 hours.
When you're
I think they were like screwing us because we were a kid.
Yeah, but I was in there playing with my homeboy anyway. So I was in there playing with Tamel and the family, which was a bunch of kids from the neighborhood rolling around. So, nah, man. That and being able to get dropped off at Teen Jams.
Oh man, yes.
I forgot about that. Get dropped off at Teen Jam.
Oh, the skating rink?
Oh, the skating rink. So callers, you walk up to what was that? What was the grocery store up there? By the skating rink, walk over there, that's why I met my parents.
Was that at Greer's?
Or it was Food World.
It was Food World.
Food World, yeah.
Yeah, so getting dropped off there and then being able to go to, because my mom would drop us off, your mom would pick us up. And when we got to that point, that was a good day in my life, man.
Mm-hmm.
So hanging with Melvin and Johnny Wilson doing that kind of stuff. So, all right, people, I try to keep it light. Any other questions? Anything else you guys got going?
I just was going to say one last note, how ass backwards it would be. When you picked your barber, you wanted to pick the one that had like a lot of customers. You didn't want to pick the one that had the empty chair. If you had an empty chair, like, nah, I'm good.
No, I still had to wait on Bo. Bo, if you're waiting on Bo had those. Bo was like the dude that all the dudes in the hood went to. So it was like, the dude's name was Bo Diddley. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it got to the point where Bo got so busy that I had to go to Big John. So I had to move on. But like Bo was like I said, that was a dude that all the dudes in the hood knew. So if you're from Tomoville, you ever went to Enix, you know who Bo is. And so he had a long wait. So that 2 hour, 3 hour wait might be 4. How many you got, Bo? I got 5. Oh, my bad. I got 6.
We didn't even have cell phones back then to entertain us.
Cell phones.
You just was waiting.
Yeah, you know.
Reading double XL in the source.
Yeah, I stayed around the corner, so there was days I just walked home. You know, so. But
speaking of having to switch, man, that used to be the hardest thing in the world when you want to switch barbers and they like in the same shop.
But they chair was right next to each other. They chair was right next. You know, I had a lot of things. Chairs.
That was awkward.
Yeah. It's like, you know, the time you like, I'm in a rush, I'll go to the other guy. They kind of understand that, but it's the next time when you come back.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna go with the new guy.
Yeah. You know what? Because you got to think I was broke and cheap, and you know the dudes from the hood, the dope boys, was sitting there going through both, you know, breaking them off. That's why I kept getting skipped, and so I think Bo felt sorry for me because Big John had clients too. I think Bo pushed me on Big John.
I used to let Big John used to come out here.
So you know Big John. So Bo was the dude that was right next to him. So Big John. So exactly, Big John could cut.
I still use a line from Big John to this day, man. A fight broke out in Enix one time. I'm like dudes were just throwing hands. And after the fight was over, they was like, man, why you ain't try it? Big John said, man, I don't step in between two grown people fighting. That's not my business. I was like, you know what? That's some good advice right
there. Somebody gonna get tuckered out. That was Big John. So you know Big John had his client too, but Bo kind of just like, you know, like downgrading me, like, look, hey man, you know, I got these D boys doing what they do, so you gonna be here all day waiting on me for your $10 cut and your $2 tip. So yeah, man. But fellas, that was a great show. Let's close them on out. What you got for us, Razi?
I just want to send a shout out to Sears Outlet. The good old scratch and dent got me a $400 refrigerator from there.
You just dissed them earlier in the show. You called them dirty.
Who?
You did. You did.
I called Sears dirty?
Yeah. Sears and Kmart.
Oh, I was talking about Sears. Yes, Sears is dirty. This is one of those prime examples of, you know, knowing the trade-off. Sears Outlet, on the other hand, is a scratch and dent store, meaning I expect it to be dirty in there. And the weird part about it is
they had a niche.
They have a niche, and the weird part is Sears Outlet was actually better lit and cleaner than actual Sears was. So
why wouldn't they be?
Exactly. That again.
That's not hard. It's not hard.
Exactly. I mean, it's a low bar, and Sears Outlet actually beat the bar. So shout out to them, man. They hooked me up, got me a good deal on a little. It's like a single ding on the refrigerator, man. So great deal for my rental property. Love that. So yeah, shout out to them.
What you got for us, Buff?
All right, so y'all got vulnerable Buff today. Kind of choked up a little bit on the episode, so that was a Three Brothers No Sense first. Also, at the top of the show, Ferg mentioned how it's MLK Day when this episode drops. And almost every year, I'm going to get on a small soapbox. Every year, I always see how people say how King wasn't as radical as Malcolm X. He wasn't as down for the cause as Malcolm X. You need to go read up on what King went through, bro. King was in the trenches, man. He did a lot of that stuff in the heart of the South. Not to take anything away from X, but a lot of what he did was in New York, Detroit. King was in Birmingham, aka Birmingham. So don't discredit what King did. He wasn't a perfect man. We all know, what he did, but he was a great man. He did some great things, and give that man his respect. Obama used to ask us to do some type of service on MLK Day. So pay it forward, volunteer, do something, or learn more about the man, more than what you learned in school. And last, I don't know if you already did this, Razi, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Erica Cooley asked you to post something, and you said you would. Have you posted that? If not, I think you should make a video.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do a video on that. So yeah, be looking out. I'm gonna talk about just financial wellness, tax returns you guys are getting at, and some ways to kind of get out of debt and still get your credit right, but at the same time walk away with the same amount of money or very close to what you actually got back from your tax return. So I think I talked about it on Politically Entertaining, so y'all can go back to one of the back catalogs.
Man, that was one of our best episodes.
Yeah, so we can post a link to that episode in the show notes as well. But yeah, I'll make a video about it.
All right, well, I mentioned my mom earlier and how nonchalant she is, so I want to take this time to say congratulations to my mother, Maggie Ferguson, or I guess she might be Maggie Cummings now. So when I say my family is so nonchalant, we really don't celebrate things well. Found out my mom got married on January 13th.
She's married now.
Yeah, she's married now to a guy she's been with for the last 24 years. He's been great to her. He is actually Greg Cummings. He's my sister's father. He's been a very important part of our family for years. So it's nothing new. Didn't come for as a surprise. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know when it was coming. But basically got a text message with a link, with several pictures of them getting married. I guess later that day after they went to work. And so after they got off work, they went and got married. So that's my mom in a nutshell. He posted the pictures and sent them to me and my siblings. And it was just a whole long thread of us just clowning and just saying, this is my mom in a nutshell. But regardless how much we clown and talk about that, we love you guys. Thank you, Greg, for being there for the family for so long. You do so much, especially for my niece and my nephew, and my kids. So we love you. Welcome to the family. Mom, I'm glad you found happiness. You deserve it. So with that being said, this is Three Brothers No Sense. You know the 6 rules of podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. See you next week.